Hey, I'm Davin Friedman, class of 2026. Welcome to the Rambler Podcast.
And I'm Natalie Spano, class of 2026. Before you dive into this episode, we wanted to share a quick message with you.
At Cathedral Prep, every opportunity we have in the classroom, on the field, and beyond is made stronger by the Fund of Excellence.
This fund supports tuition assistance, academic programs, athletics, and faith formation. Everything that makes prep.
When you give, you help students like us thrive.
Please make your impact today by visiting www.cathedralprep.com/give.
Thank you for believing
in us.
Hi everyone, my name is Jimmy Smith. I am a proud member of the Cathedral Prep class of 2011, and I have the pleasure of working here at Prep in our Advancement and Alumni Relations office. Welcome to episode number 94 of the Rambler Podcast, where we are passionate about sharing what makes Cathedral Prep the standard of excellence. I'll be your host for today's episode, and we're excited to have Donny Mallin join us as a guest. Johnny graduated from Cathedral Prep in 2009, and he is currently the owner of Sovereign Core, a Christ-centered, faith-driven gym in San Antonio, Texas, dedicated to reshaping the way men and women approach discipline, stewardship of the body, and honoring God through daily rhythms. Donny was born and raised here in Erie and played football during his time here at Cathedral Prep and then at Gannon University, where he earned his bachelor's degree in criminal justice along with a minor in psychology. He later continued his academic path at Mercyhurst University, completing a master's in criminal justice administration in 2023. He is a certified personal trainer and online fitness coach. Donny creates custom training programs for individuals who want more than physical change. They want honor, and they want purpose attached to their effort. His mission is simple but demanding: to equip men and women to honor God through disciplined living, both inside and outside the gym. And beyond his work as a coach and entrepreneur, Donny is a husband to his wife Amanda and a father to Daxton, who is currently 5 years old, and Kinsley, who is 3. They are his daily reminder of why he leads, why he pushes, and why he refuses to coast. His aim is to model strength, consistency, and faith for his children, and to live out his calling as a spiritual leader and provider within his home. At Sovereign Core and across his online platforms, Donny blends athletic experience, spiritual conviction, and accountability to help others build bodies and lives aligned with the purpose that God has given them. So, what an awesome mission, Donny. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, man. Great to be here.
Yeah, I tell you what, it was awesome. And before we got here to record this, we had you and your wife Amanda come through Prep to do a tour.
Man.
And you were saying it's been a while.
It's been, I think the last time I was here truly was 2009 in the building.
Yeah.
Like I've been around, obviously attending Gannon. But man, seeing what the growth and all the advancement that's happened here has been, it's really cool to see.
Yeah.
But I'm still happy and proud to say the gym smells the same. That's a huge piece.
If you weren't going to bring it up, I was going to ask you about it. Say what you said about going to the gym, because I love that comment.
It smells the same. It brings you right back. It brings you right back to the gym classes and just different running to the lunchroom. Just it was good, man. It was good to get that feel again.
Yeah, and it was neat along our tour. We saw some friendly faces like Mike Mishler. We got to stop in and talk with him for a while. He pointed out that you were the first recipient of the Coach Pat SciTech Award in your 2008 season.
Yeah, I had no idea. I thought that was an award that was ongoing at that point, but that's pretty cool to know. And it's cool what he's doing to honor, Coach SciTech's life, the 3D printed, I don't know if he's going with the headshot or what he's going with, but I don't know. It's cool that we're going to honor him that way. So it was great to run into him. Man, it's just, it brings you back.
Yeah.
It brings you, I wasn't expecting to feel what I felt, walking through, just like the joy, the memories that get brought up again.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. And it's cool to bring Amanda along too, for her to put a visual to what I tell her with different stories and stuff. So
yeah,
man, it's exciting.
It really is. And I've been connected with you on social media, and I've seen the stuff you've been doing on Instagram between your gym and your faith journey, and just so inspiring to see. And I reached out to you a few months ago and, mentioned the podcast and just kind of said, hey, if you happen to be in Erie, it'd be great to do it in person. I'm glad it is, because you only get so much over a Teams call. Yeah. But being able to plan this out when you're home for the holidays, visiting family, thank you for taking time away from your family to do this. But it's awesome to be able to do these in person. So I appreciate you guys coming in.
Of course, man. You're doing us a favor. Our kids, we get a day date because our kids
That's right. That's right.
Come on, this is great.
Darn, it was a 5-hour podcast episode, Mom. I don't know what to tell you.
We were just going. It was great. I don't know. Yeah, man.
Well, we'll keep this rolling, and I think it would be a great place to start with kind of going back down that memory lane. You know, we just walked through the building. We were talking about some fun stories and whatnot, teachers, coaches, and everything. I guess for you, you know, why did you ultimately decide to attend Cathedral Prep? When you think of 14-year-old Donny, what was prep for you?
Man, so admittedly, back then I was very athletically focused. So that's when prep had just been coming off state championship win in 2000, I think 2000, 2001. So you had like Ed Hinkle, Charles Rush, all the big names. And that was really important to me at the time. And plus it's been alum have been in my family from my cousins and different relatives too. So it just seemed very natural to do that. With that being said, I don't think there was another choice, man. I mean, being raised in Erie and just knowing what's available, what prep had to offer was second to none. And that's the easiest way to put it. So yes, it was driven by like athletics and family, but even just looking at the whole picture and what was available, I did not see another option. And fortunately, my parents were able to put me through here. Like they said one day I would appreciate it, and this is the day it really got to set in. Like coming back and being able to see this and like all the growth that's happening, it's like, man, they had to work hard. They had to work overtime. We came from a blue collar family. Yeah. So for them to be able to put me through here and then my sister through Villa at the time is amazing. But so that led to it. A lot of family involvement, and then just the reputation that prep has. I mean, it shapes men, you know, and it really, and I'll get to that in my story, but how a lot of things that I learned here from coaches, teachers, you know, mentors still carry into my life now. But yeah, there wasn't another choice, man. And without being arrogant, just to be honest, there was no other option. So. No,
I feel very similarly as you, and it's very well put. And you know, winners are attracted to being around winners, right? And when you put yourself in this environment of competitiveness, with athleticism, and then academics, and then spirituality. I mean, those three areas of your life being so focused on growth, and teachers and coaches were pushing us to be better. I mean, I kind of start the podcast off with saying what makes Cathedral Prep the standard of excellence, because through everyone's journey of sharing on the podcast, they get to talk about how that foundation here at Prep helped create that standard of excellence for their lives, what they go on to accomplish.
Yes, it was everything. I still remember it when the auditorium, we come in for like the orientation before you attend, and the, I guess, tagline you'd call it was spirit, mind, and body. I use that still today in everything. When I'm coaching clients, members, when we're, you know, discussing different things on podcasts and whatnot, like spirit, mind, and body. And I like to highlight the order of that. Spirit, mind, and body. Like a lot of us, we think of things of the world like, oh, we're going to think about body first. Spirit, that's your foundation. So that's just that alone. I remember it being projected up on the screen. And it was crazy. It was loud in the auditorium. They're playing highlights from like the state championship games and different things. And I was like, oh man, like the chills run through your body. I'm like, oh, I'm in the right place. I know it. Like this is perfect. So yeah, I love it, man. I love everything this school stands for, and just the advancement and everything. I just can't be proud enough.
So when those memories start flooding back, and you know you're walking the halls and you're thinking about your time at Prep, I mean, were there certain things that really stand out to you specifically, like core memories of yours, whether it's football or in the classroom or teachers, things like that?
I would say just the teachers were amazing. I truly, and I'm not just saying this, like I did not have one teacher I disliked here. Yeah. So being, you know, having a lot of friends with being a part of the football team, the hallways like in between classes, just the shenanigans that went on. Right. I mean, everything, just like dunking on each other and just different stuff. That's just it's just boys being boys in between class, and it was just all boys at that time. So it was different coming from. I went to Mount Carmel. I don't know if they're still open or not now. I don't think so. But going from obviously co-ed classroom to all male was very different in a good way though. No distractions. It was like a brotherhood. Yeah. And that was the biggest. That showed me what genuine relationships were or are at a young age. Like being able to like not only grind on the football field with your friends at Camp Notre Dame before school starts, but like even outside of school, like, hey, you're one of us. Like this is real. It's really like you feel protected, you feel covered, you know. And that's just those little things. I get excited. I was getting excited to come to school because school was never like my number one thing, man. I was always more athletic based. And any listeners that are younger, yes, school is important, but it was cool to have those just relationships and people I still talk to today. And to them to come back 10, 15 years later and feel just as welcomed, right? Like you're a part of the family still.
Yep.
Like that's important to me, and that's important to our family.
Yeah.
Like we try to welcome people like that all the time, and to be a part of that it's amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It is neat when you look back on those times, and as you were talking about some of your stories, I was sitting here getting chills, getting all fired up. I'm thinking about the rallies and all the different things like that. Yep. You said dunk it on people. They don't even know what that is nowadays, but those were like, keep your head on a swivel walking through the
That's
hallways
what I mean.
back then.
Yes, and we talked about the former tunnel that was there.
Oh, yeah.
The mad dash to the lunchroom. That bell would go off, and it was a stampede. The whole building was erupting. Like, yeah, it was such a good time, man.
Yeah.
Pure fun.
And you've been talking about it, sprinkling it in as you're talking about your background with prep and whatnot. But how ultimately do you think prep helped shape you into the man you are today? What was that foundation, a part of your story?
I think it goes back to that tagline that I spoke to.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't just like a promo the first time we came into the building. That was something that everybody from janitor to headmaster lived by. Spirit, mind, and body.
Yeah.
So those values being instilled, and it was a constant reminder of like why we're doing what we're doing, putting the Lord first. We're mentally sharp, mentally tough. Yes, taking care of our bodies, like all of it in one. Connecting is just that's what has carried me. That's what's got me through like all of those difficult times. When I'm trying to rely on my own strength, and we'll get to it, but like in business entrepreneurship, relying on Him. Trying to get out of your own mind and like of your own strength and your own endurance. Those values were instilled. Did I appreciate them as much then? No. But looking back now, I'm like, wow, I had a truly like firm foundation that I could build on. A lot of people I think leave high school and college without it's I mean, how would you delicate at best sometimes?
Yeah.
But here it was firm. And then again to be able to lean back on that. Like I could pick up the phone and call a brother if I needed to, and then understanding what that is now and how important that is with community and who you're surrounded by, that was everything, and it still is. And I think that's really what the Lord is meaning for us to do, is collaborate and be a body.
Right.
So, those things, just that alone, the brotherhood aspect, the camaraderie, the respect, integrity, I could go on with all of those values, and it wasn't just verbiage being thrown out there. It was lived by, and you felt it.
Yeah.
So it was genuine.
Right.
And I think that's something that we try to live by at the gym, is we're not just going to come up here and perform and say what we know people want to hear. We want to live it out with our actions. Mm-hmm. So that's, to summarize all of what I just said, it's prep walks the walk, right? I think that's the easiest way to say it. It's not just talk. It's not just language. It's actions being lived out. Right. So that's so important to me as a father, a son of the Lord, everything, living that out. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that sticks out to me.
Yeah.
From athletics, academics, the whole thing. So.
And it's pretty neat to see all these years later. So yeah, prep looks a little different nowadays, right?
Yeah.
Prep is a little bit different now, being co-ed by nature.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
When you go on our social media pages though, and you see spirit, mind, and body embedded into everything what you're seeing, you go on there and you see, because I like how you were just saying, prep leads by example. You can see the kids in the classroom succeeding. You can see the kids in the field or the court succeeding.
Yeah.
You can see them spiritually doing things to grow and succeed in their spiritual walk.
Yeah.
Those are things that we try to embody and be examples of, and the kids are living out now in the classroom and still to this day. It's cool. You might remember Mike Blunt. He was a year older than me.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was a neat story. It ties in right what you were talking about with the brotherhood and the camaraderie and still being a body, right? Amber and I, my wife, we were out in Pittsburgh probably around the time that I was in college, and I see Mike at a coffee shop, and I recognized him. I'm like, I was a freshman, he was a senior.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll remember me.
Yeah.
I go up to him, and I give him a roll Ramblers, and we start talking, and we were like best friends. And then Amber's standing there, and she goes, you guys in your prep brotherhood, it's just so funny to me.
Yeah.
And Mike turns to her, and without hesitation, he goes, it might be, but let me tell you what. If you were ever driving somewhere and you couldn't get a hold of Jimmy for whatever reason, your car broke down or you got a flat tire or whatever, you call any one of us who's a brother of his from prep, and we'll be right there to help you.
It's true.
And that essence has been a memory that stuck to my core. It's a prep memory of mine, but it's something that years later, again, as part of that, it sets in for you of, wow, I'm so lucky to have been the opportunity to go to prep, to be a part of this community, to be a part of this brotherhood, this body, and to be a part of this network of men and women now that are between prep and Villa that are part of our essence.
Mike's the nicest guy ever.
He's so nice.
He's like
amazing.
So nicest guy. He's the perfect example of like the lion in the world, but like the meek, humble heart. In the spirit, like he was the nicest guy ever, but when it came to the field, he was mean, man. Like he was tough to go against, but I think he embodies like what a son is, like not just a prep grad, like a son of the Lord. Like, yes, we're tenderhearted, we're soft, and we're meant to be, but we flip tables at the same time.
That's right.
Right, and so like he's a good. I'm glad you brought him up.
Yeah,
he's such a good example to tie all this in, and he's right, and that's like. And so going back to that, like where we're at now, like the faith is our main, that's our main center of our home, of our business, of our marriage as parents. And what this place taught us was like, you can trust people genuine relationships, right? Like have discernment where you need to, but like being able to rely on brothers and sisters and look at them as brothers and sisters, not just other people, you know? And it carries, and then I feel like that's what how we're meant to live.
Right.
And this place does it every day. I saw it again today. I haven't been here in 15 years, and I saw it again just this morning.
Yeah.
You know, so I love it, man. I love everything about it.
Well, we could probably talk about prep for another hour on
Easily.
But I want to get talking a little about your journey too.
Yeah, cool.
You know, you've been doing some really amazing things. Like I mentioned, I've connected with you on social media and I've been seeing from afar, and I'm excited to have the conversation with you. But maybe for some context, we read your bio and kind of what you've been able to do so far. But maybe for some context for the listeners, can you walk us through your journey a little bit? Yeah. You know, how'd you end up transitioning, for example, from criminal justice to all of a sudden now you're a personal trainer and you're owning a gym and it's this Christ-centered mission. Yeah. I guess, can you walk us through a little bit about that journey and how you ended up to kind of where you are today?
Sure, man. So finished at Gannon.
Yep.
Criminal justice, minor in psych, like you said. I was always set on wanting to like be in the FBI, basically. Anything federal law enforcement. I was like, oh, that'd be really cool. CIA, FBI, you know, any type of any federal agency, and that or law enforcement. Always drawn to that naturally. You know, protective nature, I think, was the main driver of that, and I always thought it'd be really cool. So that's what I pursued, and I got onto Dr. Clark. Jerry Clark.
Yep.
He was working for a government contractor right when I was graduating from the police academy, actually, out in Mercyhurst Northeast. And he reached out and said, hey, you should apply for this. I'm working with this contractor. It's an analyst position, but it would be a good way to get your clearance and get into the realm. So listened. Obviously, it's Dr. Clark, so I'm going to listen.
Prep
Coming
class
from him.
Was
it?
Yeah. Prep class
so
78,
I didn't know the year, but I was like, of course, I'll apply. And with him recommending, you know, pretty solid chance you're going to get hired. So I did, and that's when I had to move for the first time. So I would have been 23, maybe. I got into the government contract space, moved down to Butler, Pennsylvania. I was working in the underground Boyers mines, which is a crazy story. No windows, like underground, 225 feet underground, all furnished office space. Pretty neat.
Wow.
So dealing with a lot of just, you know, top secret clearance, but it was more like administrative investigations to leave it the most broad. It was good. It was secure, stable. I enjoyed it. There was some fun parts. Still actively working out throughout this whole time. What I realized that I was missing, I missed the competitiveness of football and just athletics. So I was obviously played till Gannon, didn't really compete in anything for a few years. So I found myself, you know, still changing up my diet a little more, really focusing on the nutrition side. Still working out, you know, once, twice a day. I was living alone for the first time in a long time, so that's kind of how I filled my time.
Yeah.
So that fitness was always a huge piece to my journey. Really, I believe that's where the Lord speaks to me most through movement. But as I was looking for something more on the competitive side while I was still with the government, I got into bodybuilding. So initially, you know, my walk with the Lord is not where it was now. So, you know, you get very lean the first time and you're looking like a whole different person in the mirror. Vanity, you know, the flesh starts to take over. And it's like, man, I want to look like this all the time. I want to look good in photos. And it was all like me, I, you know, and just living for the flesh and of the world. Like I was trying to be somebody that I wasn't at the heart. So I started, you know, kind of chasing that. And it really developed kind of a toxic relationship with food for me, a toxic relationship with working out because I was doing it for all the wrong reasons. And to be honest, it kind of made me like a menace, out there. Like I wasn't, if I knew I had to work out early, like I'm not hanging out. Like I took it to the extreme, So I fell into the vanity side, and this will be a part of the testimony of why we're doing what we're doing now. And then, so knowing that federal law enforcement likely wasn't going to be in my cards, I stayed on the government contract side, still working out, still loving fitness. And then I got into the online coaching space as like a side gig. So that was my first go at business, probably 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
And, I was able to connect with people all over the world, really, help them, create meal plans and training plans. And that was great. Little extra money, still able to do what I love, still working. That was great. In that time frame, obviously I met Amanda, and she was really walking with the Lord close. She had gotten out of a relationship and was on a journey herself, and I was still always a believer, man. I mean, always, but it was different.
Yeah.
So, and when I say different, for those that are listening, it was just her relationship with the Lord was like I had never seen. I'd never been close with somebody that was walking that way. So it was very new to me, very extremely new. Went to a Christian church for the first time, and I loved it. Like it was great. I felt connected. Felt like I was finally like really encouraged to dive into the Word and just study and learn and just pray and talk to the Lord. So that began to do a lot of work on me that I didn't even realize. Just being exposed to that from Amanda, and I thank her for it all the time, for being that example, because truly, yes, when we look at relationships, men should be the spiritual leaders of your home. She was in our relationship at first, if I'm just being honest. Yeah. So we go on this journey. Amanda ends up, and still working with the government, Amanda ends up getting hired at Seneca Valley. So we moved to Cranberry.
Yep.
We had our son in 2020, so mid-COVID. So, I was already working remotely at that time. Amanda was working from home, a little bit different. And we were kind of just going through it. We enjoyed COVID. It was really random for some people to hear that, but we loved the privacy of being able to raise our son solo. Yeah. So we're going through all this, and I'm not pursuing bodybuilding at this time. I'm still living that way behind the scenes though. Okay. So I'm not needing to get up on stage and need the attention, but I'm still living for reasons of the world at this point. So just to frame it. And then we bought a house in Cranberry. We were there for about 4.5 years. We found a new church because we relocated from Greensburg. So we started attending and walking closer with community there. Yeah. So we had a lot more contact with the pastor and elders of the church, just guiding, discipling, and different things. I wouldn't say we were in like one-on-one direct discipling relationships, but we were more connected there. So it just started to open my eyes to this whole different aspect of life, a view of life. Like, wait, I'm not living for the flesh, I'm living for the Lord. So meanwhile, still performing at work, still online coaching, doing this whole thing, I started feeling conviction of like, man, maybe I'm not approaching this the right way. Like this image I'm putting off, not only to my wife and children, but to my clients of like, I'm pointing them to the flesh. I'm pointing them back to themselves. Why am I doing that? If this is where like the Lord's working on me this way, how can I include this and intertwine it? And at first I was hesitant because I'm like, man, I'll lose clients if I openly say I'm a Christian fitness coach. And there was that whole conviction there of like, well, if you're ashamed of that, then what's the point? Like, what do you mean? Right. And the whole spiritual tie of faith and fitness was just something that at that point, praying before I would work out, diving into devotional journaling, it was so important in how it carried me into not needing to do it for myself, but to honor the Lord. So I was like, you know what? I'm done caring. Like the fear of man needs to go, right? So I started introducing myself online as more of a faith-based fitness coach. In that time, I met my former business partner, Nathan. He kind of went more like the ministry route, and I stayed with the physical gym. So we're no longer partners. But at that time we were in Cranberry, I would go down to San Antonio, Texas, because that's where he was located. I started doing some fitness coaching for him and his men's ministry. And we hit it off. Like, it was great. It was a group of guys, part of the team. We had like 50 guys in this group, really just, and it's funny because what we were trying to instill in that group and the values were exactly how Prep lives. So like the brotherhood, the trust, like sharpening iron, right. that whole aspect. And that's what we were trying to do. And so I'd come back to Cranberry and tell Amanda and like what was going on in San Antonio. And not to say it's better than it was here, but like there was just a hunger for the Lord there. And the groups and communities I was exposed to, I was like, I feel like the Lord could be calling us here. Yeah. You know, it wasn't like, hey, we're selling the house now right away. But I was like, hey, let's go check it out. So we went down as a family. And again, at this time, I'm still working. I'm actually with the federal government at this time. Okay. I got hired on with DCSA. We were doing background investigations for Department of Defense, and still doing the online coaching. Amanda was assistant principal at Seneca Valley. So we went down for a week, and we rented a house, basically lived there for a week as a family, kind of like a vacation, and we loved it. Kids felt at home, and it was that sense of peace that we haven't felt. We loved Cranberry. We loved, being a part of that community there. It was just different. And it was hard for us to put into words why we were being led there. Because a lot of people would say, oh, you're following man, or, oh, you're just trying to run, and we got accused of like joining a cult, the whole deal. It was wild. So, but I do believe it was the presence of the Lord that we encountered there as a family is what solidified our decision to do that. And it was a big feat, right? Sell your house, leave a government job, leave a public school system job, move halfway across the country where you don't know anybody genuinely yet. And we decided to take that step of faith. And I think that's what, without the Lord working on my heart before that, or our hearts as a family, I would have never made that decision, because I would have needed guaranteed income. I would have needed security. I would have needed all those things of the world before making a decision. And I can honestly say that we did take a complete step of faith, which led to this now. So now we have a gym. When the men's group, it was online, it began to kind of, there were some inconsistencies with other partners that were involved, so I won't go into all those details. Sure. But it basically ceased. Like it was no longer. So Nathan and I at the time were like, well, man, there's something here. There's something here with this faith and fitness connection. And we're trying to get away from the whole fitness being vanity and surrounded by secular music. So we opened up a gym. Originally it was called Iron Forge. And there was no secular music. We were praying out after each training session. It's a group training model. Yeah. And we would host events, with live worship and workouts. So really, if you look at it like outside looking in, very unique. Yeah. And it caught a lot of social media attention because of how unique it was. So people wanted to like check it out. Like, this is cool. Yeah. And obviously, faith, like I think you see it more on social media than ever before, which is a beautiful thing. But I also can see how it's being used for monetary gain too. Sure. So we truly, part of our partnership separation was because I started to like try to keep us in that alignment of like, hey man, we're not performing here. We're trying to keep it centered. Yeah. And anyway, so to keep it genuine as possible and pure, we decided to separate. Now Amanda and I, we renamed it Sovereign Core. Yeah. But it's truly the mission of Sovereign Core is to just equip men and women to honor the Lord through daily discipline and stewardship of your body. So it's not just you getting physically fit for yourself. It's you honoring the body that is not even yours, right? It's the Lord's inside you. Take care of the vessel that it's in. And that's what we stand on every day there. And what that has developed is this community of brothers and sisters from all walks of life. Like San Antonio is a big military city, and it's people from like broken homes, like kind of like the one of the 99 come in, not knowing anybody. And same thing, like prep, everybody, if you're a part of that community, you're cared for, and you feel that when you walk in the door. So that was, I'm sure I missed some highlighted points on that. Sure, and that's how we got to this point, and that's why we're still going. And we've really seen how the community has just thrived on it. Yeah. Being able to have, I like the word family is the easiest way to explain it, but that community that you can truly rely on one another, and Christ being at the center and being that pure peace. Yeah. It just, if you let him have his way, it's going to happen. So that's literally what we're trying to do, and I'm trying to get out of the way. So that's where we're at.
That's sometimes the hardest part, is get out of our own way.
The hardest part.
I would say, I love hearing about your journey and just the different, steps that you took along the way that you can feel the Lord prompting you. Yeah. And to your point, it would have been easier to say, hey, you know what, I like this guaranteed part of, her being an assistant principal and me having this job, and you know what, maybe we're just going to stay here and not listen to this prompting that we're feeling on our family and where we should be. But for us to just be willing to be led by Him. And I think also the other thing I'm thinking about is, the Bible actually talks about exactly what you're saying, to honor bodies and treat it as a vessel and give it back to God. And every decision we make, do it for the Lord with that. Yeah. That's something for my own personal fitness journey. I know, right? I can relate to, where cool. you work out because you want to be stronger, fitter, and faster than everybody else, and you do it for vanity, and then as the Lord works in your heart and you see these different things, just opens up a whole new way that you want to do fitness. It does. And I want to add to that. You thought, as you were talking, I thought of something like, please. What I didn't explain was the feeling. Like you mentioned, like the Lord prompting and convicting. Yeah. I, on paper, would have had it all according to society. Yeah. House, wife, jobs, stability, cars, all that, right? The American dream. Why was I going to bed empty, waking up empty? It's because my relationship was not close and intimate with the Lord. That was the missing piece. And I used to try to fill it with alcohol, with different things, and it just was always temporary and not fulfilling. Ended up resulting in like more anxiety and different things. So for anybody listening, that's the big takeaways. If you start to feel those convictions, don't ignore them. Right. Because you're being told something. And now pray on what that is. Don't just make an impulse decision. And I'm not saying we prayed on it a lot. We came to the decision, and a lot of people not going through that process will think that you're crazy, and they'll say whatever they can to keep you where they want you. Yeah. But if it's truly the Lord's calling on your life, you got to be obedient. You got to say yes. So I forgot to add that detail because, in that, like outside looking in, there would be no sign of emptiness there. I was still joyful, still performing. Yeah. But there was something missing. Right. And it was Him. Right. So, I would throw that in there. Well, it's a great it's a great thing for all of us who are listening to you talk about your journey to really remind ourselves is to keep Christ centered and to pray before we make those decisions. And a lot of times when we feel a conviction about something, it might not just be a gut feeling, like that. Right. That's a cliche, like a gut feeling. That might be the Holy Spirit working to kind of prompt us to move in a different direction or to figure something out like that. So on the question I kind of have for you with that is kind of like the business side of things too. So obviously, it's great for everyone listening to hear. That's awesome, Donny. Like you have this great faith experience. The Lord's working in your life. You make the decision. But practicality, right? Then on the business side of things, what lessons did you learn early on in regards to entrepreneurship for starting your own business that are maybe some things that you had to figure out along the way too? Because, it's kind of, that had to work together with your vision that God had for you. That's good, man. I would say you're not going to have that perfect product before you start. So what I was what I was trying to work through initially in entrepreneurship was like, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if this is going to pan out. Will this work? Do I have everything in order? Now, I'm not saying go into something blind. I'm like go in with a plan, go in with some type of structure. Yeah. But what I think a big lesson for anybody listening to this or just starting out in business is go in with a humble heart and be ready to learn and be ready to be broken down and beaten up a little bit. And it's okay. It's okay if you don't have it the perfect way the first time. So I think I see a lot of people that have so many great ideas, so much creativity, and so much love for what they do. They stop and don't do it because they're afraid of how it'll look to other people. And again, it goes back to that fear of man. Yeah. Ignore that. Right. Like, obviously, make intelligent, thought out decisions, but know that you're not going to have all the answers and have that humble heart to really be humbled and be ready to have yourself lowered so you can be, taught certain things and learn. Right. So be ready to learn. Yeah. Like you think you go into entrepreneurship, it's like, man, I'm going to make money for myself. This is cool. I would say I got about a master's degree in business and entrepreneurship packed into about 10 months, and it's a crash course, but it's fun if you have Christ at the core because you can lean on Him throughout. Right. And a piece of that too is I would say anybody in entrepreneurship or in business, doesn't matter what season of it really, you have to have wise counsel around you. So that's a good one. The reason that I would even credit the gym is still functioning and running is because Amanda and I are in discipling relationships. So I'm under Pastor Jake Diaz of our church, Kingdom Legacy in San Antonio,
and he has walked and still is walking with us every step of the way. So having that wise counsel, having mentors in business is great. That's obviously, I think it goes without saying. That should be a piece, and you should be willing to submit yourself to that kind of leadership and mentorship to learn. But the aspect of what's correct, where's the integrity, are you praying, is Christ at the center, helps shape that business. So having both of those sides, I have obviously business mentors too. Oscar's a name that comes to mind. A few other people that are helping, but surrounding yourself with that wise counsel will lead to success. So that's still a huge piece in truly like a spiritual father, business father, whatever you want to call it, is pivotal, man. I think it's so important because we don't have all the answers, and like I said, it's okay, but like, why would you expect to go into something thinking you know all about it?
Right.
Like, you're not going to have it right exactly the first time, and then being willing to adapt when things come at you, because every day in this life is different now, entrepreneurship wise. Like, I'm used to being in the structure of the government, Amanda in the school system. We had our schedules down, rhythms down. And I thought I was a very disciplined person before. Like, okay, I'd go work out before work, go to work, have all my meals ready to go. Now having a schedule that's completely built by you, discipline, I come to appreciate the word discipline more now.
Yeah.
It's such a drastic higher level, but yeah, that would be my advice, man.
Yeah.
The wise counsel and just the humility of being willing to learn. Like,
Right.
if you're not a lifelong learner, I don't think you're on the right path.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with what you're saying. What comes to me is the people who don't want to fail, right? So the people who are sitting there, and it could be they're afraid of failing. And to your point, you said, what's people going to think of me? And, the different things that you mentioned there. Sometimes you just got to walk into a project or a business or an opportunity that you're going to be leading that may look fearful and scary. And you know what? You just got to your point, have that humility and have humbleness through the Lord and say, you know what? If I lean on Him, even if this project isn't by the world standards successful, I'm still going to learn and grow through this season of whatever it is that I'm discovering that I'm going to try to attempt to do.
That's good, brother.
And you know what? It's either going to be successful or you're going to learn something new. And then you're going to move on and you're going to say either you're going to do it similar or a little bit different, or you're going to grow from it or do whatever it is.
Dude, that's so... I would say, like, people think like win-loss, right?
Right.
It's win-learn.
Win-learn.
That's the way.
Yep.
That's so good.
And so, like, for you, I mean, you wear so many different hats, from being, personal trainer, right? You're the online fitness coaching to now running a gym, and let alone running a gym with Christ as the center. I mean, it adds an extra layer of responsibility that you're thinking through in terms of every decision you're making, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously a man of faith, and you're a husband, and you're a father. There's a lot of different hats that you're wearing through your day, through your life. You're just talking about discipline. But I want to bring this to leadership, okay? Kind of context in that question. What does real leadership mean to you, and how has that maybe changed over time now, and just talking more specifically over the last handful of years?
Man, I would say my appreciation for this question has grown over the last 2 years specifically.
Okay.
We talked about it when we first started the podcast off with, walking the walk.
Yeah.
That to me, a leader can present and, perform. Okay, let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
A man or woman can present and perform to look a certain way for influence.
Sure.
I think there's a very big difference between someone who has influence over a leader who not only, is providing a good word, is setting a good example, but they're living it. So I would say, to me, leadership means, like, what fruit do you have to show for what you're telling me? Yeah. Like, if I can see fruit in your life, that what you're telling me is in how you're living, I'm bought in. I'm good. So a leader to me is someone like, hey, I'm not just going to correct my son for something and then go behind the scenes because nobody can see me doing it and lack integrity and go do that. Right? That's a weak example, but I think you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So not only, preaching something, but walking it out. And that whole aspect of that role model carries so much more weight than any words ever have. So I've learned that actions are so much louder than words. I know we've heard that forever, from grade school till now.
Sure.
It's the truth, man. It's the truth. If I can witness you live with fruit in your life from the decisions that you're making, that's leadership. I want to do what that person's doing. And I mentioned Pastor Jake, like, he's a good example of that. Not only in the home, but like in the church and different things and just different leaders. So that's what I'm looking for. And that's what I try to always live by. for myself. Like if I'm telling members at this gym, hey, you got to have Christ first, but I'm not attending church, I'm not praying, I'm not reading my Bible, I'm a fraud, man. Like, and that's crazy. So now I'm just painting this picture on social media that I'm not actually living, which we know happens every day. So to me, it's someone who has that integrity behind the scenes when no one's looking, and then there's no question when they're making a decision, like, or they say something like, yeah, I know they would do that.
Yeah.
Like, I think you may have had coaches or people in your life that like give instruction on how to like eat right and train behind the scenes, and then it's like, well, you're like 100 pounds overweight. It's kind of like having that trainer, and I'm not jabbing people who are out of shape, but
sure.
But like that trainer that's like teaching you how to train and work out, and it's like they need a trainer. It's like,
right.
That's tough. It's tough to follow. So that to me, that defines leadership, the fruit in your life and how you're walking out.
I think that's money, and anybody listening should really like take really hold of that lesson that he was just you were sharing with us here, Donny. Because I had somebody I was doing counseling with, spiritual counseling, meeting with them and being discipled by them years ago, and they would talk about being a good fruit inspector because this was during a time of all the social media coming out, and you hear this megachurch preacher saying this, and you hear this person saying this, and you have people in your life that you're listening to. Yeah. How do you know who to really listen to, right? They're contradicting views and everything. Sure. Be a good fruit inspector. And so if you want a life like somebody, if you have a vision for the life you want, are you going to take advice from person A or person B? Well, how's the life that they're living? Is that the life that you want, or is it not? And if it wasn't something that was Christ-centered, well, that's not the fruit you're looking for then, right?
That's good, man.
So it's things like that, as you're talking about leadership having to do with the fruit that's in your life. I think that's so true, and it holds us all, to a much higher standard. That's the even more tougher part of hearing you say that. It's like having to swallow that pill of, you're right. If I'm going to tell my son he can't do whatever it is, I can't be doing that too.
No.
If I'm going to tell members of the church or members of my community that here's the way we should be doing something, am I doing it also? I mean, it holds you to a much higher standard, and it's important for us to be constantly praying and meditating on that, reminding ourselves that, ultimately it's God calling us to that standard. We need to be obedient, again, going back to that, word. So,
that's so good.
Yeah.
And I think leadership's a privilege, man. I mean, to be, because it keeps you in line too, like you just said it.
Yeah.
If you're living by what you're preaching and saying, it holds you to a standard when you don't feel like it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I think that just carries into every aspect. So that's so good.
So, on the other end of it, though, there's also this concept of burnout, right? Yeah. So, as I'm talking and I'm telling you, that what you're saying holds us to a higher standard.
Yeah.
Well, on the flip side, you look at having to live that disciplined lifestyle 24/7. Yep. But also, there's people counting on us too, our families, our coworkers, our children, our wives, all the different things. So it's something real that a lot of us who are probably listening to you talk are like, that's a lot. It's hard to keep up with today. I have a busy life. My life's full with work, and maybe I work a second job. Somebody's listening. They're working a second job. They have a family. They're doing all these things. Yeah. So I guess the kind of what I want to frame up to you is, how have you learned to reset when you feel off? And that could be spiritually, physically, mentally. What do you do to kind of reset?
Yeah, so I'll be vulnerable with people listening on this. I struggle in this area, man, big time. So it's not all rainbows and unicorns all the time, if I'm being honest. This is one where it's actually a goal for me leading into this year too. And a word that comes to mind for me is Sabbath. So Sabbath, like, if anyone's not familiar, basically just you're shutting off, right, your day to day, but you're really like diving into prayer. You're diving into things that are bringing you closer to the Lord. It's rest. So like I'm not trying to give a lesson on this, but I'm preaching to myself as I'm explaining this, because I was always a big like performance-based person, and I still tend to fall into that toxic trait of mine. And when I realize, no, it's not our own strength and endurance. As a son and a daughter, it's not our own strength and endurance. It's His. Lean on Him. So when I'm feeling, and Amanda knows when I get to this point, like I'm irritable, kind of like short-tempered a bit, and we all have those moments. But when I'm starting to get that way, I have to remove myself. So I do like little micro Sabbaths too, and I'm working up to doing a full Sabbath, which I'm not 100% on yet, which I'm just being honest with. Yeah. It's a huge piece. But when I do so spiritually, mentally, and physically, this could tie into all three. I literally just put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I cut the lights in the office or room that I'm in, and I put my headphones on, and I'll listen to either, you know, scripture readings or something as simple as just like rain sounds. Just chill, and I pray and I just relax. And those little, like, I don't want to call, I guess I'll call them micro Sabbaths.
Yeah.
Have helped
Coin
me
that phrase.
be
Yeah.
better. That's cool. I'll take it. That's helped. Now, what I have noticed in myself is I tend to believe those micro Sabbaths are enough, and they're not. They're not. So you have to commit yourself to a Sabbath, or you'll burn out. You'll burn out as a spiritual leader of your home, business owner, husband, son, daughter, whatever it is. And it's got to be a deliberate and intentional, no, phone's going away now. You know, I'm disconnecting from the computer. Or you will literally drive yourself crazy. And fortunately, I haven't gotten to that point. Like, I have a pretty solid, a smaller circle, but a solid circle to say, hey, you should go take a break.
Yeah.
So that again, that goes back to the importance of community and people around you to see that when you don't see it yourself. But Sabbath is, and if you think about, you know, talking about scripture, we work from rest. We shouldn't be resting because we worked. You know what I mean? Okay. So think of that order. Like, we work because we're coming out of that Sabbath rest and those rhythms. Yeah. I'm ready to perform. I'm sharp. I'm rested. I'm in tune with the Lord. I'm ready to go. Rather than I'm burnt out. Now I need a recovery emergency rest. Way different coming out of that than a Sabbath rest.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my approach going into this year of committing to the Sabbath. Phone is done. Phone's done. Set hours for our family rhythms. We've started doing things too as a family with our kids. Thursday nights is we just put on worship in our house, and you know, the kids kind of just dance around and stuff and just hang out.
Yeah.
And it's such a nice time, even though it's only like 1 to 2 hours. It's such a nice little break. Yeah. And then even with that, I would be lying to the listeners to say that I'm fully committed. I'm still learning to completely shut off for the full 2 hours. It's such a habit to go grab my phone. It is. And the reason I'm even saying this, I'm just being honest. Because it's not as easy as it sounds just saying that. It takes time. But then with that, okay, don't let it turn into shame. You'll get it. Just keep going. Yeah. Keep praying on it. Keep giving it to the Lord. Lay it at his feet. He'll give it to you. But just keep working at that. But setting it, like, we're so good at setting our schedules, but are we setting that intentional, like, rest time and time with him? You know, that's the biggest piece.
Well, and I really appreciate the perspective there on, you know, coming out of a Sabbath ready to work versus you work and now I'm burnt out and I'm going to crash. Yeah. Even you think about the way we just phrase that, the terminology, I'm going to crash. Do we really rest if we're crashing and then now all of a sudden we're trying to come out of that? I feel like that just then keeps you on that cycle of that hamster wheel, just 100%. running. And you're running, crash. Versus when I hear the word Sabbath, I think of it as an intentional thing that you're planning in your life, whether it's a micro Sabbath, right? I liked how you phrased that. Yeah, that's good. Cool. Yeah. We're going to take responsibility. That came from this podcast. If it goes out there, it goes out. But you know, for me, everything you're speaking is right up my alley because high performer, high energy, always busy doing something. I have 4 kids. I kind of have to be, right? A lot of times too. But having that time to just do even a micro Sabbath, whatever that means to you as a listener. It might be 20 minutes, it might be an hour, it might be 5 minutes today because that's all you get. Again, don't have that shame and guilt like you're talking about, but being able to have that scheduled time where really you're just putting that focus back on the Lord, right? Man. You're trying to remove everything. You're just having that focus on the Lord, recovering, recouping, and then you're ready to go out there into battle, right? You're ready to go out there to be able to go out there into the world.
That's it, man. Yeah. That's it, man. So all that stuff that gets you to that point. Now, granted, like I really am not a huge fan of the word balance. Yeah. You know, I don't know if you're putting things as a priority in your life, I argue that that's a priority. There's not going to be balance elsewhere. Yeah. You know, so I think that's important to align your priorities a certain way. But yeah, in that Sabbath, that's when you give those things to him. Yeah. To prevent that burnout.
And you mentioned that that's something big for you this year, and this episode of the podcast is coming out the first Monday of 2026, so it's very appropriate to have you on. I think a lot of people are like fired up listening to this already anyway. But with this coming out, you know, in your bio, I want to kind of go back to it. You describe your focus as equipping men and women to honor God through disciplined living. You've been talking about, you know, discipline through this episode, but can you describe for us what that means, as you phrase it, to honor God through disciplined living, and maybe, talk to us a little about how you encourage us for 2026 to have a lifestyle like that.
Yeah. So, where do I begin? So this is, I did speak to it a little bit earlier about not doing things of this world or like performing for the world. So I think first it takes a mindset shift, or even like a culture shift if it's within your community, of doing certain things, performing a certain way, setting certain goals to have a better status in the world. So I think that's where I think we start wrong. Okay. I think we start our New Year's goals incorrectly, because if I'm giving any advice going into the new year, now granted we're talking like new year, new me, physical, right?
Right.
I'm going to get my finances in order. I'm going to budget. I'm going to take Amanda out on dates. I'm going to be more intentional with my children. All those things are great, and they should be made a priority. My advice is all that time and attention you're going to put into preparation and living those things out should not surpass your time you're giving to the Lord. Without that time that you're going to give to the Lord, that's your foundation for all those things to thrive. So how are you going to build on all these things on a weak foundation? You're not. I don't think you can. I would argue that you can't, because I've tried. I've tried multiple times, and I still catch myself doing it. So again, part of my reflection going into this year, and I love this question, because this is what we really should look at the end of the year as. Like, hey, do an honest reflection, an honest look in the mirror of like, where have I fallen short? Where could I be better? And if that's physical, mental, spiritual, all those things, financial, that's great. Set those things up. Set yourself up for success. But what's at the core of all that? Like, I think if you're doing that to honor or to be able to like get that promotion at work just to have a better status in the office or drive that nice car, I don't know if your heart posture is where it should be going into this year. But if your heart posture is, hey, I'm gonna give gratitude this year and honor the body that I have and honor really the privileges that the Lord is allowing me to have here going into this year, and I'm gonna steward those things that He's giving me well and living like with abundance, and like expect that abundance, but steward the things that He's gifting me with honor and integrity. So that's the shift now. I've never started a year out this way. I've always started out with what I was listing before, with the finances and those like worldly tasks, and I have never pointed my face back to the Lord, which I should have. And I find myself, yes, do I reach goals during the year? Sure, but there's still some that I don't meet because the Christ isn't at the core. So that's my big thing, man. If anybody listening is like looking to like set some goals, set goals and put time into them, stay consistent and do that. Like, we could do the whole like motivational speaker talk right now and be like, wake up on your first alarm, prep all your food, go to the gym, take your wife out on dates, like go that whole thing. And that's all good. That's great. And that takes a lot of time. Are you setting a rhythm aside to have more time with the Lord than that? If not, I would argue that your priorities are mixed up. So I think whatever calculation you need to do, whatever you're figuring out before the end of this year, before you start living things out in the next year, reflect on that why, and put Him first. I mean, that's why we're here, man.
I was praying yesterday through reflecting on 2025, just really thinking about what God led me through this year, where I can see Christ worked in my life, cool. Through joy, through times of pain, or times of just going through and figuring out things. And I think it's important for anybody listening, if you haven't taken the time to look at 2025 and just be thankful for the walk Christ has had you on. Good, for some of us, it's been the hardest year that it's been. For some of us, it's been the best year that it's been. Either way, as you look to do that, reflect on the year, give it to God, and then as you transfer, your mindset shift now looking forward to 2026, give it back to the Lord. Give that back to the Lord. So all the goals you were talking about, put your focus on Him. Consecrate the year into Christ, into what it's going to be, whether it's family, fitness, whatever, your professional aspirations. Everything you were just talking about is exactly kind of the rhythm that I want, our family to do as we look for 2026 as well.
Of course, man.
Yeah.
And just to add on that a little bit, let's say 2025 was a very hard year for you or your family members or close loved ones. That's okay. I mean, and I say that's okay because the Lord allowed you to go through that season. Like, if you think about hard times, tragedies, adversity, if you can think of, again, it's a mindset shift of like those things are an equipping for a future appointment.
Right.
So you're prepared now for this appointment that he's giving you, and he's already orchestrated for your life. If you try to go through and race through that equipping, you're not going to be ready, or you're not going to be the man or daughter that you were meant to be in that season. So if 2025 was that equipping year, I'm not trying to spoil alerts, but 2026 may still be a part of that equipping. We don't know his timeline. So just be open to that. But again, having him at the core, you can pray on that and it'll be revealed, hey, you're being equipped, and embrace that process and then apply it. It's such a big piece, man. And because I used to get so frustrated. We get so frustrated when things don't go our way.
Yeah.
And that's life, that's business, that's entrepreneurship, it's marriage. But yeah, he allows us to go through it.
And by the way, as I'm listening to you talk, what's coming to my mind right now is excitement. Like just, like we're talking about this, man. And we're saying disciplined living and, all these different things, but let's march into 2026 with joy.
For sure.
Joy in the Lord, right?
Yes.
Just praise him for whatever it is 2025 was. And as we go into 2026, just give all that joy comes from him. Let's go into it with confidence through the Lord and excitement in the Lord.
Come on, man.
For what he's going to bring us.
That's right.
It's going to be according to his plan.
And I love this. And our pastor said, and it's so true. Our pastor said this the other day, a couple weeks ago. Be expectant of what he's going to do. It's okay. Like, it's okay to expect the abundance he's going to provide in different ways and things he's going to do and give to you. So, yes, absolutely be excited.
Yeah. Be expecting to receive these things.
Come
all
on.
Blessings, right?
Come on, man. Exactly.
Oh, I love it. Well, we could go on and on, but I got one last final question for you before we wrap up on the podcast. It's a fun one. I call it my bonus question because I ask every alum who comes on the same question to end the episodes. All right?
Oh, cool.
So it's been a fun theme to kind of tie it all back together. So it is kind of going back to what we're starting the episode with, but so if you, Donny, right? All right, if you could go back in time and speak at your graduation for prep.
Yeah.
All right. So you picture your classmates there, but when you speak at your graduation, you get to talk knowing what you know now.
Yeah.
What would you say to your guys? You're looking out to them, class of 2009, June 2009. Yeah.
Man, I'd go right to scripture on them. I'm a totally different person than I was.
It's amazing.
In 2009.
Praise the Lord.
Praise
the Lord.
Absolutely. I would go to Proverbs 3:5, and I would start off that speech with, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Because I think that would hit everybody in the room. And I like to think of that going into this year or going into any other area of life, any change, like at that point of lives. Hey, we're about to go to college for the first time, about to enter the workforce for the first time. Without you relying on your own strength and performance, rely on him.
Yeah.
So at this phase of my life, what I've learned is if it doesn't point back to him or honor him, I don't want any part of it. And I'm not trying to force that on people. I'm just trying to help them understand that heart posture produces fruit in your life. And it's only going to plant seeds and help other people.
Yeah.
Because we're only on this earth for a temporary time, man. We're like, if you're looking for worldly wins, which you should be, that doesn't define you, and that's not your identity. It's the eternal salvation.
Yeah.
So that's where I would go, and I would have a whole spiel on that somehow. I'd put a message together.
For sure. But you out there preaching,
right? Just go. But that's a scripture I would lean on, and that's one that I'm being very drawn to time and time again as I'm reflecting on this last year, going into this year.
Yeah.
Proverbs 3:5. And it's something I think. You let him have it. Lay it at his feet and have full trust that he's got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially that time of your life is transition, right? And I think it's very appropriate as we're talking with your episode at this timing. It's transitioning from one season to the next. Ending Christmas, ending 2025, going into this new year, kids getting back to school, their routines, and doing all the stuff they do.
Yeah.
We're in the season of transition and being able to say, you know what, I'm going to lay it at his feet. We're going to trust in the Lord. And this is what we're called to do and what we're meant to be here on this earth. That's what it comes back to. So, I love it. I think that'd be great. Well, Donny, this has been awesome. I appreciate you and Amanda coming in to prep today, doing the tour, being able to chat and hear some of the stories, show you the building, give you the smells of the gym.
Yeah, come on, bring me back. No, we appreciate it. Honestly, we thank you for hosting us, for welcoming us back, having me on.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have never guessed I'd be on the Prep Podcast.
That's right.
It's an honor. Truly.
If people want to look up your gym, on social media, whatnot, what's your handle? How can they find you?
Yeah, so Sovereign's abbreviated, so it's SVRN Gym, Sovereign SVRN Core Gym.
Yes.
For the IG handle, and then you can also find me Donny_Mallin as well, and everything will be linked through those pages. Instagram's our main driver.
Yeah, so it's fun to watch this content you guys put up because this is really cool to see church happening in the gym. The different worship sets you guys do with workouts. It's really neat to see. So yeah, it's fun if anybody's on social to go check out those pages. But yeah, nonetheless, Donny, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for coming on as a guest.
Thank you so much for having me, brother.
You're welcome.